So, you're thinking about learning Spanish, huh? It can feel, well, a little intimidating at first, right? But what if I told you that you could get past the biggest hurdles with just a few simple tools? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're building your Spanish survival kit. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to start with the absolute basics, how words actually sound and where to put the stress. Then we'll get into this whole noun gender thing, masculine, feminine. After that, we'll tackle the big one, the ser versus estar showdown. And finally, we'll clear up the confusion between por and para. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll have everything you need to start talking. All right, first things first, pronunciation. This is usually the number one thing people worry about, right? Am I going to sound silly? Well, let me tell you, I've got some really good news for you, something that's going to make you breathe a huge sigh of relief. Okay, this right here, this is the secret weapon, the superpower of Spanish. Seriously, think about English for a second. Words like knife with its silent K, or all the crazy ways you can pronounce uff. It's a mess. Spanish, though? Nope. What you see is pretty much always what you say. It's phonetic, and that gives you a massive head start. So while it's super phonetic, there are just a couple of little patterns you gotta know. Like, take the hard K sound. It all depends on the vowel that comes next. If it's an A, O, or U, you're gonna use a C. Think casa, calor, cuenta. Easy enough. But if it's an E or an I, you switch to Q. And here's the key. That U is totally silent, so it's queso, not queso. See? Super simple rule, and it's always consistent. All right, let's talk about stress. And I'm not kidding, this is so important. I once had a taxi driver in Mexico look at me like I had three heads because I was stressing the wrong part of a word. It can completely change things. But hey, the good news? There are basically just three simple rules to get it right every single time. And here they are. Master these, and you'll always know where to put that emphasis. See, you're already starting to sound more authentic. Now that we've got the sounds and the stress figured out, let's dive into the words themselves. And we're going to tackle something that can feel a little weird for us English speakers at first, grammatical gender. Okay, so what is this? Well, in English, a book is just an it, a table is an it, but in Spanish, every single noun is either masculine or feminine. A table is a she, la mesa, a book is a he, el libro. And no, it has nothing to do with biology, it's just a grammar rule. But it's a super important one because it changes the little words around the noun like the and Getting this down is absolutely key. So you're probably wondering, how on earth am I supposed to know which is which? Well, I've got your cheat sheet right here. The biggest rule of thumb is this. Words that end in an O are almost always masculine, and words that end in an A are usually feminine. Now, are there exceptions? Of course. You can see a couple of the most common rebels there, like el día, the day, and la mano, the hand. But honestly, there aren't that many, and you'll get the hang of them in no time. Okay, deep breath. We've arrived at one of the most famous, maybe infamous, challenges in Spanish, the two verbs for to be. In English, we just say is or are, simple. But in Spanish, you have to choose between two different words, ser and estar. Let's crack this code. The secret to figuring this out really boils down to one simple question. Is the thing you're talking about permanent, or is it temporary? That's it. Think of it this way. Your height is pretty permanent, right? But being tired, that's temporary. That fundamental difference is exactly how you choose between ser and estar. Okay, so for all those permanent, essential things, the stuff that makes something what it is, you're going to use ser. And here's an awesome little memory trick for you, the acronym DOCTOR. This covers pretty much everything: descriptions, occupations, characteristics, time, origin, and relationships. All those core fundamental qualities. If it fits in doctor, it's ser. And on the flip side, for all those temporary states and conditions, you've got istar. And yep, there's a handy acronym for this one too, place. This one covers position, location, ongoing actions, conditions, and emotions. I love this little summary. Ser is what you are, istar is how you are. It's that simple. Wow, look how far we've come. You're doing great. Let's tackle just one more of these tricky pairs, and then your beginner's toolkit will be complete. We're talking about the two words for por and para. This one can seem confusing, but I think this slide really breaks it down. Think of para as being all about the destination. It's the goal, the endpoint, the purpose. It's looking forward. Por, on the other hand, is about the journey. It's the reason why you're on the path or the path itself. So para is your destination, Poor is the road you travel to get there. And that's it. Just like that, you've basically climbed the biggest mountains that trip up new Spanish learners. Seriously, you now have this awesome set of tools at your disposal. So let's put it all together. Let's get you ready for that first conversation. So here it is, your 4-step survival kit. You know how to pronounce things so people will actually understand you. You've got the gender think down. You know when to use ser and when to use estar. And you can tell the difference between por and para. You are 100% ready to start speaking. So, what's next? Look, anybody can memorize a phrasebook and ask, where is the library? But that's not you anymore. You've got the building blocks. You can actually describe the library. You can say what it is and how it is. You can explain why you're going there. You have the power to create your own sentences, to actually communicate. So the only real question left is, what are you going to say first?